So this next song is not my song, but it's my song, if you know what I mean. It's something that I know to be true in my life, and that is God will take care of you. He's been taking care of me. He's going to take care of me. I can trust and I can believe that. Is it all right if we sing it?
Yeah.
Let's go. Be not dismayed, whatever betide, God will take care of you. Beneath His wings of love abide. Oh, God will take care of you. Oh, I know God will take care of you through every day. Come what may, He'll see through. God will take care of you. God will take care of you. All that you need, He will provide. Say that God will take good care of you. Oh, nothing you ask, it will be denied. I know that God will, He'll take good care of you. I know God will take care of you through every day. Come what may, He'll see through.
everybody. This is Pastor Mike, and I am super excited because we are back for another episode of Mass for the People. This is our weekly broadcast, our tap in and our check in to help us think a little bit about what it means for us to respond as freedom fighters, people of faith and goodwill to the most pertinent issues impacting Black and brown folks who are suffering at the intersection of oppression, of health disparities, of injustice. What does this moment require of us? And as you can imagine, so many things are happening in the world right now. One of which is immediate emergency that needs an outpouring of support from people of faith and goodwill all across the country. Many of you know that the Justice for Julius Jones campaign has been ramping up for the past 5 or 6 years or so, really attempting to shine light on an injustice that we believe has taken 22 years of a man's life for a crime he did not commit. And now, in light of all these new revelations, in light of the commutation board literally granting a 3-1 decision to commute young brother Julius Jones' sentence, the governor and others are still not granting the freedom that we believe this brother deserves. And so we are excited to bring back to the show the founder and architect and brilliant organizer of the Justice for Julius Jones campaign, a longtime friend, comrade. She is a native of Halifax, Virginia, y'all. She is one of the most inspiring, hopeful, talented sisters I've got a chance to meet through the years. She's a graduate of Yale Divinity School, underground at Howard University. She's a worship leader. She's a theologian. She's a preacher. She's a freedom fighting activist, demon slaying, just on top of all the things that are happening to this egregious case in Oklahoma. And I'm super excited to welcome back to the show for the second time. We had her on last year as the campaign was ramping up. Now she's back to give us some updates and some clear ways to plug in. Come on, welcome to the room, the great Reverend Cece Jones-Davis, who is the director for the Justice for Julius Jones campaign. Come on in the room. Let's have a good conversation.
Hi there, Pastor Mike. Thank you so much. That was like the best intro I think I have ever gotten in my whole life. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, you gave me 1999, to say all those things. So it's my pleasure to, live up to, no, I'm just playing it. All those things are certainly true because you have indeed literally out of lots of skepticism and resistance, you have responded to the emergency that Mother Jones and Antoinette Jones and so many others who love and know Julius Jones have helped to elevate a very important issue related to the impending execution of an innocent Black man on
Yeah.
death row in Oklahoma City. Some folks may be a little new to this conversation, so just take a few moments and perhaps just give us a quick overview of the Justice for Julius Jones campaign and what compelled you, someone who is not related to Julius Jones, even though your last name is Jones, but
Right.
you just jumped into this thing and now you might as well be a part of the family because
Right.
you
I
fighting
am
for
a
a
part.
man named Jones, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Well, Julius, let me just give folks who aren't familiar kind of a backdrop of who Julius is. In 1999, Julius was 19 years old. He was on an academic scholarship to the University of Oklahoma, and he was a really promising basketball player. He started to hang out with the wrong crowd during the summer of his freshman year. And long story short, by the end of that summer, Julius was incarcerated for the murder of a business owner, Mr. Paul Howell, out of Edmond, Oklahoma, which is right outside of Oklahoma City.
Mm.
Very long story short, Julius never really had a chance. He had a very poor defense. If you watch The Last Defense, which Viola Davis produced for ABC back in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
you can really kind of see all of how this played out. But his defense, they were overwhelmed and they were underqualified and they didn't know what they were doing and they know that. And so when it was their time to present, they just stood up and said, "Your Honor, we rest," and they sat back down.
Mm.
And so,
You mean to
you
tell
know,
me they did not even, they didn't call the brother to the stand, they didn't put on any compelling evidence? They, was there ever a conversation about why? I mean, that just seems so odd. To,
yeah, they just, um, they thought that he wasn't credible. They thought that his
mm,
family members weren't credible alibis, and so they didn't put any of them or anyone else on the stand. They didn't present a photo that would have shown that Julius didn't even fit the description,
mm,
of the shooter. And so this young man just never even had a chance. He had a racist jury. He had 11 out of the 12 were white, one person of color. One white juror came forward to say that another white juror said, "Let's just take this N word to the back of the court and shoot him and get it
mm.
over." That person remained on the jury and helped to vote for death. So from very early on, Julius did not have an opportunity. The co-defendant in his case, Christopher Jordan, was the star witness for the prosecution and gave six different accounts to detectives about this crime, about what happened, and ultimately took a deal, said that he was the driver, Julius was the shooter, and that he ultimately took a
Wow.
deal to spend 15 years in prison. So he has been out since 2014 and has
Wow.
confessed to at least four people that he actually committed the crime. Yet the state of
You
Oklahoma,
you what? Wait. So the person that supposedly committed the crime with Julius Jones got a deal and was in jail admitting to other people that he actually did the deal, did the crime, framed Julius Jones, and he's free, like out in the
and
public right now.
he is free. He is out in the public right now.
And they
Yes, he
still have
admitted.
Julius Jones on death row with a sentenced execution date, even with, let's just say there's no other compelling like inconsistencies. Like, shouldn't that alone make reasonable doubt enough to not execute a man? It just
I
seems.
would think so. I would think so. But, the powers that be in Oklahoma so far have been adamant in killing Julius and silencing Julius. And that's why, this campaign has been so important. As a kind of fast forward a little bit, Pastor Mike, you were on the ground with us when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Julius had a commutation hearing, the first commutation hearing for a death row inmate in the state of Oklahoma in the state's history. That took place on the 13th of September. And during that hearing, 3 out of 4 voted that Julius's sentence, because of the overwhelming doubt, because of the overwhelming new evidence, because of the confession, etc., that Julius' sentence should be commuted to life with the possibility of parole, which it was a real victory for Julius. But don't you know, just days later, literally a week later, 7 days later, the Attorney General issued an execution date for Julius
Mm.
Jones for November the 18th, while the governor was deliberating around signing this commutation recommendation. And so the governor has decided to wait until there is a what we call a clemency hearing, which every death row inmate is legally has a right to. And that is going to be in a couple weeks, October the 26th. And so we're hoping that you, Pastor Mike, and others will join us on the ground in Oklahoma City, because this is really Julius's last chance. His execution date is 3 weeks after that clemency hearing. And so we need all hands on deck. We need all God's people on the ground that can make it. And we need people to really help us to continue to amplify Julius's story, because it doesn't take a lawyer or, some kind of other kind of professional to see that this is just wrong.
Absolutely, and I guess that's part of why we wanted to have you back on, because what we do understand is that without the outpouring of outrage, without people calling the
Right.
governor, calling the attorney general, without folks mobilizing in black churches, evangelical, white churches, uh, people of no faith, business owners. Like, this is a massive opportunity to save a person's life.
Yeah.
Often we do all kind of work after a person's life is taken, and we,
Right.
march in the streets and we shut down freeways. And I think we were talking one time, and you just were like, we go, what was your comment? We going after the one, right? We not
Yeah.
just out here trying to go for slam dunk type cases and causes, but this is a situation that literally is worthy of particularly people of faith's attention.
Absolutely.
Now, you
Absolutely.
you 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 are someone who, for a lot of your life, has had a kind of inclination to justice issues. But what moved you to literally become a champion for this particular issue of Julius Jones and the issue of the death penalty? I'd love for folks just to hear you talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go to the weekend of events that we're all feverishly pulling together.
Yes. I watched, I was living in Oklahoma City at the time that the documentary aired. And, I just couldn't sleep. I just couldn't rest. And I was so troubled that someone in that kind of proximity, it's not like I knew him or knew his family or anything, but I was living in Oklahoma. I was paying taxes in Oklahoma, and I was not comfortable having been made aware of that to just walk away, like I
Mm.
hadn't seen it or never heard of this man. And so I googled his attorneys and got in contact with them, got in contact with the Jones family, and just been organizing for the last 3 years. But it really has been a call of God. I couldn't rest because it's been a call of God, and I haven't been able to rest because it's a call of God. You know, Julius had been on death row for 18 years before I had heard his story, and many people from
Wow.
around the country had knew his name or heard his story. And so, God just said it's time. It's time for somebody to care. It's time for somebody to do something about this. And I just feel like, I mean, God has shown us and told us in so many ways how important every individual is to him. And
Mm.
so, um, you know, I mean, Julius, to this day, I've never met Julius, but that's not important. What's important is that God knows him, and
Mm.
that, he's important to God. His life matters to God, so his life ought to matter to me. And so that's how I got involved. And the Jones family is definitely my family at this point. Antoinette and Miss Madeline and Mr. Anthony, we've been through some sure enough fire, but they were in the fire well before I knew them, and thank
Yes.
God they held on to Julius for as long as they did until help arrived.
Well, help is officially not only on the way, it is here. I was there with you at the invitation of yourself and Antoinette and others, and there is a bona fide movement for justice in Oklahoma City. We don't believe at this point the movement is large enough, and we need many, many more Oklahomans to weigh in and let your voice be heard. We've been told that the powers that be want to hear from people from Oklahoma. They want to hear from citizens from Oklahoma, people who are taxpayers, people who are churchgoers, people who are lifelong Oklahomans. They want to hear directly from you all to make sure that the priority of Julius's life is something that is held by all of the state of Oklahoma. When I was there, I certainly communicated that this is an opportunity to redeem the kind of the soul of Oklahoma. And Oklahoma's a Bible Belt state. He's all these folk who in Oklahoma, and they believe they just Bible toting, Jesus following, 10 Commandments outside the courtroom. I think they may built an upper room up in there somewhere to try to act like they just a place where Jesus hang out all the time. And I'm just trying to figure out how can you be so bloodthirsty for the life of a human being and follow the Jesus who is the Prince of Peace, who is the great Redeemer. So to this point, what I've loved about your work, your approach, and that of Mother Jones and Antoinette, this is a largely faith-driven effort. You all are having vigils every day. Y'all
Right.
praying. I mean, I think y'all having an all-night prayer meeting. You have church services. You have. I mean, y'all ain't just out here, screaming at empty buildings. I mean, y'all are really bombarding heaven, and I'm telling you, we all need to bombard heaven. Give us a sense of some of the things that you're doing, the vigils, the faith leader calls, and hopefully
Yeah.
another weekend of righteous love, justice, and advocacy for the freedom of Julius Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely a faith-based effort. I can't do anything that's not faith-based. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? Because um, I mean, everything that I try to put my hands to is because I feel a real deep conviction behind the spiritual conviction behind it. So this is definitely faith-based, and what I've been riding on the last 3 years is that it's not by might or by power, but it is by God's Spirit. And I
Preacher.
believe that we are where we are. I'm telling you right now, we are where we are by the grace of God, because God's
Mm,
hand has been on it, because God cares about Julius's life, because Julius has a call on his life. Um, and because you're right, this is an opportunity for redemption. We just commemorated the 100 years of the Tulsa massacre in Tulsa,
mm,
Oklahoma. And I prophetically believe that Julius is an opportunity for Oklahoma to get itself right.
mm,
Um, and, there should be absolutely no more spilling of blood in the state of
mm,
Oklahoma, um, and particularly of blood from a black man.
come
And
on now.
so I really believe that this is a redemptive opportunity for the state of Oklahoma. I think it's a redemptive opportunity for the United States of America,
Mm,
quite frankly, to put aside whatever those things are that cause us to miss the point. The point is life. The point is the value of human life, and everything else is something else and something
yeah.
different. And that's the point. But yes, we've got vigils going on the ground. We're calling them freedom vigils in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa that have been going on since the 1st of October. They will go through this weekend. Julius unfortunately goes on death watch on October 15th by state statute. Death row inmates go on what they call death watch 35 days prior to their execution date. And so that date is October 15th for Julius.
Mm,
Um, and that is really kind of, I cannot imagine how he's feeling. I can't imagine being in that position. I only know what it feels like as somebody who cares about his life,
yeah.
and it's very, very daunting feeling. He will have all of his belongings packed up. He will be moved to another area and housed four doors down from the execution chamber. And every
Mm,
every week he'll be moved down to the next one until he's in front of the execution chamber.
mm. What kind
Um,
of what kind of archaic, man? What is this, man? This is wild.
I mean that's really an effort to make. He'll have the lights on him 24 hours. He'll have a live guard with him for 24 hours. And it's really, I think, an effort to make someone palatable to their death. I think it's what that's ultimately
Jesus, help us, Lord.
about. And so you're right when you said, Pastor Mike, earlier, we are in a really, really critical time. There's a lot of people who have heard about Julius, and now we need a lot of people to do something about Julius.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, go to justiceforjulius.com to contact the governor, to contact the Pardon and Parole Board. Again, he has his last hearing on October the 26th. People can go to prayersforjulius.com to get a link to join the prayer movement, the prayer calls that happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays that are led by Minister Keith Jossell. So there's so much that folks can do, and we really do need you to lean in at this time.
So two things, justiceforjuliusjones.com. You can literally go there and you can click your way to the governor's office. You don't have to remember anything else
Yeah.
but justiceforjuliusjones.com, and it should be scrolling underneath in as a banner. And then all of you prayer warriors, we need you to go to prayersforjulius.com. Now,
Hmm.
you can pray and you can call. Those two things don't cost you anything.
Right.
I need all of us who are in Oklahoma. I need you who know folks in Oklahoma. You who know pastors, megachurch pastors, artists, entertainers, regular everyday people, doctors, lawyers, Pookie, Ray Ray. I don't care who you know. I need
Right.
everybody to call the governor. I need you all to be blowing this man's phone up. He claims to be a Christ follower. He claims to be an evangelical. He claims to have come out of the Assemblies of God Church, the tongue-talking church of the Christian faith here in America. And I don't understand how a tongue talker can be tongue-tied for justice. You got to speak up and speak out. Y'all, please don't hide. And on October 25th and 26th, a few of us are going to actually be flying to support the Just for Julius Jones campaign work. Stay on the lookout for all of those notifications because we're going to need some of y'all who are unafraid, who are filled with love, peace, and justice, and who want to come and be on the ground and help us pray and chant and be present and serve. It's an all hands on deck. We could help save a black man's life and make a bona fide historic correction to a justice system that has been addicted to the bodies and the lives of black folks too long in this country. Just
Yep.
this far we've gone has already sent shockwaves through the whole communities working for ending the death penalty, and I need and I want all of us to hone in and tap in on this. Cece, how can people be in touch with you? I see the justiceforjulius.com. I need that to be continuously scrolling through the whole episode. And so is that the best way for folks to plug in and be a part of the work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So folks can contact me through that page, justiceforjulius.com. If you need to reach out specifically, you can find me there. Folks can also please take to social media. We have a toolkit on the website. Use the toolkit. Social media is so powerful and
Mm.
is a huge reason why, Justice for Julius is where it is now. So please help us in that way. Also, follow Justice for Julius on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and, like, retweet. Y'all know what to do, on social media. Y'all just
Be
come on
be
and
be
help
one of
us.
them. Be one of them Twitter soldiers, them
Be
Instagram
one of them
posters.
Twitter, I'm telling you, be one of
Do
them Twitter
something.
soldiers.
Redeem
Absolutely.
redeem your
You know,
life. Do something for somebody real quick.
yeah. And, and we just invite you all to come to Oklahoma. We're going to have activities on the ground in Oklahoma starting, probably starting Saturday. I can't think, I don't have the calendar in front of me. I think that's like the 23rd
But that
or,
stuff will get posted as well, and
okay, yeah,
we'll
yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. We'll
Yeah.
keep you all posted, but just plan to have boots on the ground if there's a way for you to get there.
Y'all, we are blessed to be able to be talking to the great Reverend Cece Jones-Davis of the Justice for Julius Jones campaign. I hope that you all are as compelled by it, as I am, by not just the passion, the clarity, but the deep love that this whole effort has undertaken. I do believe that it matters that we stand up for those who are oppressed, incarcerated, and marginalized. And Jesus told us many times what we must do. The question is, why don't we do it? Here's one concrete way to put our faith into action and show up. So let's support Mother Jones, Antoinette, Reverend Cece, Pastor Keith, all them folks in Oklahoma City. Our presence, our advocacy, our calls gives them a little bit more energy, and it puts a little bit more pressure on the governor and the commutation and clemency board and all these folks to do the right thing and not needlessly take the life of another innocent black person I don't know what else the church is here to do besides advocate for someone like this. I can't wait to see how God shows up through our faithfulness, and I invite you to join in with us. Reverend Cece, you know what it is. It's
Thank
nothing but
you.
love. It's nothing but admiration for the great work you guys have done. And we'll see you on the ground in a couple weeks in Oklahoma City. Touch your
Thank you
neighbor.
so much. Thank you, Pastor Mike, for everything.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, y'all. We are done for this part of the conversation. Stay tuned because we're going to come back to talk about Haiti and the concrete ways that we all can plug in and ensure we are literally intervening on behalf of the lives and the loved ones struggling, not only down at the border, but also in their own countries. This is Pastor Mike, Mass for the People.